So human beings have always been pretty fascinated by the human body. That could explain part of the success of Body Worlds and its derivative, Bodies, the exhibition. These exhibits use a process known as plastination, a process created by Body Worlds creator Gunther van Hagens to preserve actual human corpses so they can be displayed, often in some creative positions.
It's against respect. It's against respect for the life that was lived.
While most moral debates have focused on whether the concept is good or not, there's actually a far more serious, potentially sinister side to these shows that isn't really getting coverage.
It's art. It's science. No, it's entertainment. You're going to be entertained. You're going to be entertained by looking at dead bodies.
Controversial exhibit of human bodies from China at the Galleria Mall will now come with a warning label.
Allegations have been around for a while now that both exhibits use bodies of executed prisoners from China.
We wanted to give St. Louisans enough information so they could decide for themselves whether they want to see the exhibition or they want their children to see the exhibition.
From a human rights point of view, this is a pretty intolerable exhibit, and I certainly wouldn't want to take my family to it.
I'd heard about the Bodies exhibit while making Red Rain, my documentary exposing organ harvesting from prisoners of conscience in China, the practitioners of Falun Dafa, imprisoned for their beliefs of truth, compassion, and forbearance. Some think that these bodies used at the exhibit were the same practitioners killed for the exhibit. There was concern and speculation, but it was hard to prove. So upon discovering that the exhibit was in my own neighborhood, I had to see for myself. Across from the swanky restaurants and nestled between trendy clothing stores, the controversial exhibit set up shop. But even after all my research, I wasn't prepared for what I saw. To me, it looked like a crime scene. Maybe it was. Seeing these bodies in compromising and unnatural positions seemed aberrant and abhorrent. If this man and these people could speak, what would they say? If he could act, what would he do? I wanted to film this man's face, the expression of his seemingly pleading eyes, but when I held the camera up to shoot, I couldn't. I could not add to one more indignity. All I could do was tell him that I was sorry and that I will do something on his behalf. I looked into his pleading eyes and I made a promise in that fleeting moment. I promised him that I would redeem him, somehow, in any way I could. This film is my attempt to fulfill my promise. It made me ask this fundamental question. Does it matter if these human beings were never laid to rest? Does it matter if a person has a funeral? How so? And if they are not laid to rest, are they just wandering ghosts? So I researched burials or ceremonies to honor the deceased, and it seems that many cultures believe it does indeed matter. Every culture across the globe and across time understood its significance. The rituals, prayers, and customs differed, but they all shared one thing at the core: and understanding that respect for death is respect for life, and that we are all part of a bigger tapestry than we experience here. The Day of the Dead is observed in Mexico in the fall, where family and friends gather annually to pray and tell anecdotes of the departed, build altars to encourage their souls to visit the human realm, and even dress up as the dead to materialize their return. The celebration has become an essential component of Mexico's national identity. Based on "Unto dust shall you return" from Genesis, traditional Jewish burial focuses on simplicity and a deep respect for the deceased, with the traditions including tahara, ritual purification, shmirah, guarding the deceased, tachrifim, traditional Jewish burial shrouds, and a simple pine casket. Kaddish, the mourner's prayer, a declaration of faith and consolation, is said 11 months to help the soul elevate to its highest position. The ancient Egyptians had elaborate burials to ensure that their loved ones had a successful transition to their afterlife. The Chinese celebrate Qingming Festival, or Pure Brightness Festival, every spring to remember the dead, with rituals of sweeping their grave, with picnics at the grave sites. Funerary art honors the dead and living with beautiful sculptures that move and inspire us to aspire. And yet we display humans for entertainment and profit? It seems that the term "in the name of science" has been used to justify many horrific exploits in history, as our reliance on science eclipses faith in the divine. So how do we return to the true essence of our existence, with a deep respect for life in the fullest meaning, to understand we are part of creation and therefore the Creator? I felt compelled to make a funeral, a ritual in space and time, dedicated to remembering and honoring you, the unburied, of the traveling body exhibit. I bought a wreath. I chose this requiem, Verdi's Requiem, which was sung by prisoners in Czechoslovakian concentration camps in World War II, with sheet music smuggled in by a Jewish composer, and prisoners meeting late at night in the basement to sing this complicated music to affirm beauty, life, God, and the retribution of evil. This music seemed most fitting. And in your tradition, I created an altar, a prayer shrine. I can't put photos here. I don't know what you look like, or even how many of you there are. But your essence is truth, compassion, and forbearance. So I have placed these characters in the frame. I light incense for you, because if I can't lay your body to rest, perhaps I can raise your soul in dignity. A great mystical sage noted that the death of every one of God's creatures causes a gap in the armies of the exalted King. The Kaddish, he said, is recited in the hope that the gap will be filled. So from my tradition, I offer you the Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divra kiutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'yizman kariv v'yamru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach lilam umei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yitadar, v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah, Yechu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, ta'amiran v'yalma v'yamru Amen. Yehei shlama rab amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yamru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. And I now hope you will find your way home, and that your cycle here is now complete, and that your memory will be a blessing that raises us up in dignity. My eulogy to you. You are mothers and you are fathers, you are sons and daughters, wives and husbands, all who were loved and gave love. You were friends and community leaders. You liked to read, you were athletic, you enjoyed gardening and cooking for others. Some of you were the life of the party with great sense of humor, and others quiet and reserved, clever with all things tech. You were thoughtful and creative. You were great in art and appreciated beautiful things. You were in awe of the world and wanted to know more about it, always striving to learn more. You showed kindness to everyone around you. You believed in human rights and in truth. For many of you, compassion and forbearance were the way you lived. So today I show you truth and compassion. Today I honor your God-given life. Today I pay respects for your passing, affirming your sacredness, affirming the sacredness of life.
My God, I pray that these things never end. The sand and the ocean, the rush of the waters, the lightning in the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the ocean, the rush of the waters, this lightning in the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the lightning in the heavens, the prayer of the heart.
As we honor the rhythms of life and death, that which seems ephemeral becomes fortified or transformed by the enduring. Our devotion to loved ones, to humanity, or the simplest things we say or do elevates our sense of meaning, of the divine, of the sacred, like glowing lanterns at dusk.